lest we forget. Just 3 words, but 3 extraordinarily powerful words. It is a solemn promise we all make to acknowledge and respect the service of Australian Defence Force personnel and our veteran community. And the sentence before that, Deputy Speaker, is equally poignant. The words are, "We will remember them." We will remember them. Those words don't come with a use-by date. There's no caveat. There's no, "we will remember them sometimes." We will remember them as long as it happened in the last 20 years. We will remember them. And under this legislation, the government is proposing we will only remember them, we will only recognise their incredible service if the action occurred in the past 20 years. That is exactly what this legislation proposes in terms of major medallic recognition for acts of bravery and gallantry that has quite rightly been reviewed by the Defence Honours and Awards and Appeals Tribunal over the last 14 years and resulted in some of the most celebrated Australians receiving due recognition decades after their brave action. But what this government is trying to do is to cut this off at 20 years and say, if your action didn't occur as an Australian Defence Force personnel in the Navy, the Army or the Air Force, if it didn't occur in a more convenient time frame for us, say the last 20 years, I'm sorry, you can't review any decision made from the Department of Defence in relation to honours of such great national significance. Now, Deputy Speaker, this is the most extraordinary overreach by the Department of Defence, and has found a compliant minister to come in here with a rubbish piece of legislation that should not have seen the light of day. I'm sure the Department of Defence could not believe their luck when this government said, "We'll run this one out for you. We'll run this one out for you and see how we go." But the legislation presented to us last Thursday with no consultation failed at the first test, and every speaker on this side of the House has recognised it. It is a solution trying to find a problem. The member for Indi pointed out, what is the government trying to fix? What's broken? Other crossbenchers spoke. Members, Liberal Party, National Party spoke. But the Labor MPs were missing in action. Now, we know, on this side of the House, we know there's a lot of you. We sit here and we know there's a lot of you. You had a lot of choices, had more than 90 choices, in fact, and you could only find one person brave enough to back up the minister, and that was the poor first-termer from Sturt. I mean, was there a ballot? Did she get the short straw? I mean, how did this poor member for Sturt cop the short straw and have to turn up here? Because when the division was called this morning on the second reading speech, 90 turned up to vote. They were all here. They were all here, but they were missing in action because they had no intention of defending this pitiful piece of legislation, because they know how poorly it will be regarded by their veterans, by their service personnel and by the families in their own communities. So I say to those opposite, before you voted, you should have read the bill. You should have had a good look at it, because I can tell you now, if you'd read the bill, you wouldn't have turned up here and voted for it, because the minister knows there's been no consultation with the major veterans groups. He knows that the Australian Defence Force personnel do not support this bill. He knows the families will be furious, and yet somehow he's convinced his colleagues to come and vote for it. They heard the bells, they ran in here, voted, and had no idea what they just voted for. So, Deputy Speaker, there's no shame in the minister withdrawing this bill. There's no shame whatsoever, because he has not given any explanation as to what he is seeking to fix with the legislation before the House today.